everyone, and welcome to another review by Emily Illustrator. Today, we are actually going to be taking a look at another Upcrate box. Upcrate was kind enough to send it to me. The box did get a little beat up in transit, but everything arrived just fine. You see here, we have the Upcrate number 31 March 2022 box. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what we have inside. If you ever want to double check that you have everything that you need, you can always check in the Bottle Post magazine where it lists everything in there. I'm not going to take a look at it quite yet though, because I don't want to spoil it for you. We have the artwork about My Weird Art. We talked a little bit about her. We have some of her stickers. We have the Art Spaz watercolor booklet. It is an A5 pad that has 10 sheets of the 230 grams heavy watercolor paper. And because of the way that it is bound, it can lay completely flat. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what we have inside our little package here. It says weird supplies inside. Inside we have the Da Vinci Fit paintbrush. It is a synthetic fiber paintbrush and it comes in different sizes. Today we have the Da Vinci flat brush. It is the number 6 flat brush actually. And then we've got our pencil for sketching. It is actually a Upcrate brand pencil. It is a 2B pencil. And then we have the Micron pen. It is the Pigma Micron 10 pen. It is 0.60 millimeters. I think I still prefer the Staedtler pens, but with this one being such a thick nib, I think it's going to work really well. These I'm excited to try. These are Van Gogh watercolors. Colors that we've got are indigo, turquoise green. This one reminds me of Prismacolor's parrot green, and yellow ochre. The pigments produce uniform color mixtures in combination with water, and in most cases have the highest light fastness rating of 3 stars, which means that the colors are preserved for over 100 years under museum conditions. I am really curious to try these. And then we have the Ecoline brush pens. I've been really curious to try these out. It looks like we have 522, 226, 700, and 227, which are yellow ochre, black, pastel yellow, and turquoise blue. I'm thinking an image underwater would be really good with these. Lastly, we have this Brush X extinguishing solution for brush pen and ink. I haven't used something like this before, but it says it's very user-friendly. From everything I've read about it so far, it looks like you can remove the ink of the watercolor pens once you have the pigment on paper. So we're definitely going to be testing this out. I want to be able to see how much it actually removes. Let's go ahead and play with the Ecoline pens first. Gosh, that's a real pretty color. It is a brush water-based pen and it has a fiber tip. This one is the yellow ochre. It's really vibrant. It's very smooth on the paper. This one is the pastel yellow. It's very light, but as most of you know, I'm a fan of pastel colors. I know a lot of people like to use these for calligraphy and brush lettering as well. They have a lot of ink in them, but it's a watercolor ink, not a regular ink. All right, I'm gonna try some calligraphy here. Please don't judge me on my handwriting. I am not a calligrapher. Theoretically, we're able to add a little bit of water to them. So once it's on there, the ink doesn't move around a ton. I'm thinking that it's going to be better if we put them on a palette first, then paint with it. I'm pressing pretty hard and it's missing a little, but not much. One of the other things that you could try is putting water first and then touching the marker to it. Let's go ahead and try it on the palette now. It's working, very light though. You're not looking at a high level of saturation. Either that or I just need to use less water. So if you're wanting something pastel, I think this could work for you. Let's try and see what happens if we put them next to one another. See if we can blend them a little bit. I'm just kind of trying to look and see what they're capable of doing, how much they move around. I think if you want them to move around a little more, the palette is going to be the way to go. Now that the black is dried a little bit, let's see what happens if we add water to it. It's kind of the same as before, it's just pretty thin. It's interesting. Doesn't seem to be soaking through it all. The paper is holding up really well, and I'm adding quite a bit of water. Let's go ahead and test the pencil out just for the fun of it. It's just your standard 2B pencil, and I'm using just a Staedtler eraser, and it's erasing well. Then we have the 10 Pigma Micron pen, which makes it a fairly thick nib. Let's go ahead and take a look at the watercolors. I'm really interested in these. I haven't tried the Van Gogh brand before. The tubes are really filled as well, which is nice. This one is the indigo. The consistency is interesting. It's thicker than the watercolors I've used before. I haven't done any research on these paints before today. However, from passing mentions, I seem to remember it's a pretty high quality brand. That one was the yellow ochre, and this one is the turquoise green. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of water now. Oh, wow. This is incredibly pigmented. A little bit goes a long way for sure. This is a gorgeous color. This is so much more pigment than I'm used to. Same thing with the yellow. Ooh, this is pretty. Such rich colors. I'm absolutely loving this. All right, let's see what it looks like on the paper. That is really nice. This gorgeous paint. This indigo is just so rich. The paint itself is extremely smooth. Sometimes with lower quality paints, it will have little flecks of paint throughout it, but this is really nice. If I could describe any paint as velvety, this would probably be it. This makes me really interested to try out their other colors for sure. If these colors are this pretty, I can't imagine what the other colors are like. This is such a fun box. Let's go ahead and see how the Micron does on top of the Ecoline now that it's dry. This is working out really well. There's no bleeding or anything. Okay, so now I want to try out this Brush EX extinguishing solution. I haven't tried it out before, but the idea is that I can remove the watercolor ink. It has a slight scent to it. It's almost like a chlorine smell. I would say Clorox, but it's not quite that strong. I can definitely smell something, but it's not overpowering. It goes over the black well, but it definitely leaves some slight yellowing on the paper. So it doesn't completely erase it, but it goes over the yellow really well. Let's test out the blue. And that's removing it for sure. Look at that. Now it does state that this is for the Ecoline pens, not the watercolors. As you can see, it doesn't really do anything to the regular watercolors. Now I'll try it on the Ecoline pen areas that I added water to. That's so interesting. That just lifts it right up, doesn't it? Straight across the word pen. As I said before, it doesn't work as well on the black, but it works really well on the colors. It definitely seems like it's simply bleaching the colors. That being said, I'd be curious to see how the paper holds up long term as far as the paper fibers and how it's affected by the solution. Okay, well, I'm ready to make something. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go ahead and cut out a page of this so I can tape the page down to my workspace. So now I'm going to go ahead and sketch out my image. I'm going to draw a Kelpie and add the watercolors to have it be a little underwater image. I used the pencil and now I'm going to go over it with the Micron pen. Ideally, I'd probably prefer a smaller thickness pen when working on a sheet this small, but for now, this is okay. So like I said, the watercolors themselves are highly pigmented, so I'm going to go a little bit slower adding my layers. This is the same paint that I used when I tested them, so one tube is going to last a while. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way. While we're working on this, let's break down the cost a little bit. So the way that it works is that every month you receive an Upcrate art supply subscription box, which is $25 per month. But the amount of supplies you're getting inside is worth quite a bit more. So the prices that I'm going to give you are in conversion from euros to US dollars based on prices that I can find on websites such as Blick or Amazon or however else it's available to those of us in the US. So for the Brush X extinguishing fluid, it is $6.84. The Ecoline brush pen is $4.65. There were 4 of those in the box. The Micron pen is $2.83. The Van Gogh paint is $3.22 per tube, and there were 3 of those in the box. There was the Da Vinci brush, which is $5.25. The Upcrate pencil, which is worth about 53 cents. And the watercolor booklet, which is $3.16. All of that comes out to a total of $46.87. And so the fact that you're paying $25 a month for it, you're getting quite a deal. Plus, it comes with all of the inspiration and the booklet and the how-tos and information on new artists. We got the little stickers. There was a lot of stuff that came in with it. So if this is something that you're interested in, cost-wise, it balances out amazingly. You get a ton of new products that maybe you haven't tried before. It offers a ton of inspiration and how-tos and tutorials and everything. If this is something that you're looking for, honestly, Upcrate is a great way to go for it. Me personally, I've enjoyed trying new supplies, and I definitely want to get some more of those Van Gogh paints. Those just really blew me out of the water. I can't wait to try out what else they have. In the meantime, if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll chat with you next time. Bye.